Welcome, everybody, to our session today, July 24th. This is Yoel Cortex, Senior Librarian at Ex Libris. We're joined today with Maud Arnaud from Alma Product Management, Erez Shabu from Alma Product Management. Maud and Erez, thank you for taking time out of your very busy schedules. I know it's tough to schedule meetings with everybody all together, so thank you very much for taking the time. I'm just going to take the screen for one moment here. I just want to show everybody where we are now. This is part of our Alma 2024 Roadmap webinar series, and it's also part of our Alma Network Zone Consortia webinar series. It's part of our Network Zone Consortia webinar series because we're discussing, as the title of the session states, the Consortia Central Configuration Dashboard for distributing shared configuration across the members, as this directly relates to Alma Network Zone Consortia. And in addition to that, this is something that is new for Alma 2024. So therefore, it's part of the Alma 2024 Roadmap webinar series. And let's see where we are now in both of these series. So the Alma 2024 Roadmap webinar series, we're already well into it. In fact, we're almost completed with it. We've had several sessions, as you can see here, beginning back in February. And today we're in this session here on the Consortia Central Configuration Dashboard. We're taking a break in August from the Alma 2024 Roadmap webinar series simply because so many people are on vacation among those who typically participate. So in September, we're going to reconvene for the new all title search user experience. You can already register there. And then authority records matching and linking sometime in the fourth quarter. The Network Zone Consortia webinar series also well underway. We've had several sessions here. Next week, July 31st, please join us also for how to restrict editing bibliographic fields by member institutions of the Network Zone. You can already register here. On these pages, both the Alma 2024 Roadmap webinar series as well as the Alma Network Zone Consortia webinar series, you have links to the recordings and also links to the material that's being used during the sessions. That material is, of course, also available, the recordings on YouTube and via our customer education webinars page. So without further ado, I'm going to stop the sharing and turn this over to Erez and Maud. Erez and Maud, thanks again, and take it away.
Okay, you see my presentation?
We see you and hear you perfectly.
Okay, thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining the session today.
Erez, it's not in presentation mode, sorry.
Okay. Sorry. One second. And now?
It's good.
Okay, thank you, Matt. So again, thank you for joining our session today, where we are going to explore with you, discover the new Consortia Central Configuration Dashboard. And of course, we'll give you all the background about it and what we have done and what to expect. So a little bit of introduction, background for this centralized configuration management. In the past year or two, there were two big consortia working group assembled in North America and in Europe, where they came with a lot of requirements focused, targeted for consortia customers. So based on that list of requirements, we've been working on enhancing the consortia experience. So we started by developing one of the biggest requests that we received, which is about centralizing the configuration management from the central office point of view. So we've been developing this new feature that I will present soon since the beginning of the year, and we will release it in August. But we actually gave a sneak peek and early access to selected customers so they can see it ahead of time, play with it, give us some feedback, and based on this feedback, we did some minor adjustments, and now we are ready to release the new feature. So we're going to discuss about table level inheritance versus row level inheritance. This is part of the new dashboard. We will provide within that new dashboard access to configurations that are type of code tables and mapping tables. We already started to add rules configurations to the dashboard. So this will be concluded in phase 2. Which will be available in November, the next quarterly release. And then this is all about prioritizations that came from the Consortia Working Group. They dictate what is more important versus the other. And then based on that prioritization, we add gradually more and more configurations to that dashboard. So it's a work in progress, which we are presenting you now, the first phase of it. And what we are calling a one-stop shop. It's a one place where all the configurations that we are moving to the new dashboard will be available for the central office. Those that work in a network zone environment will be available to manage and distribute, and I'll show you everything in the live demo. So we call that new dashboard Consortia Central Configuration Dashboard. We aim to have an efficient and centralized management configuration across Consortia, meaning you're logging into the network zone, but you will be able to access all the members' configurations. So you don't have to log in, log out to each member institution of your Consortia. You have it within the network zone logging, and it's a one login, and which allows you an access to the entire Consortia. On top of that, for those of you that work with configurations from the network zone and distributions of configurations from the NZ to the various IZs, we wanted to enhance the experience of the distributions, so we added a capability for a real-time distribution. Show you that as well. We are allowing a selective distribution, either for cherry picking members of the consortia or a predefined group. We'll talk about it as well. We work with the Consortia Working Group on types or modes of distributions because there are various flavors of consortia. Some work in one way where other work in another. So we are presenting various modes of distributions. We'll talk about it as well. And finally, we are allowing, when you're using that new dashboard, access to manage configurations in all levels, meaning network zone, institution zone, and even library level configurations within the institutions. And everything will be in demo that we are going to present right now. Okay, so I'm switching to the Alma environment. Do you still see my Alma environment now? Or you still see my presentation?
Let's have a look at the new Consortia Central Configuration Dashboard demo PowerPoint
slide.
slide.
Okay, so let me
Now we
reshare.
see you.
Yes, no. And now you should see the network zone.
Now we see, yep, the network zone, Ex Libris staff.
Okay, great. So I'm presenting you this new feature on a premium sandbox, which already have August. And we'll start with the current functionality, current behavior, what will you do until now. So as an administrator or user of a network zone, when you have to manage the network zone, the consortia configurations, and distribute to the members. What you have done until now, you had, for those of you who had this icon on top of the ALMA environment, you had an access to all of the institutions within the consortia. So I'm presenting you a demo environment. So I have a network zone, and you can see that I have 3 members of the consortia. I have Alma University, I have Open University, and I have a University of Knowledge. These represent 3 different institutions that are part of my network zone. And as a network zone operator, if I want to work on one of them, I can go to that link, and by pressing any of them, I'm leaving the network zone institution, moving to any of these members, logging in, and can conduct whatever is need to be done in terms of configuration, etc. And this is what you do today. So in order to have centralized configuration across the network, you're going to the configuration. Okay, let's say you want to adjust the currency setting of the network zone. So you go to that configuration. This one is already being managed in the network, but you can change you can conduct any changes needed, decide that you want to manage in the network, and then save and distribute. And what it does, takes the network zone configuration and spread it to all of the members. And then if you want to see what happens in each member, again, you're going back to each of the member, logging in, going to that configuration, and viewing what was distributed from the network to the member, and if needed, doing some adjustment. So from August, this cumbersome process no longer needed to be done. What we are presenting is now the new dashboard. So you're going to the ALMA configuration within a network zone institution. This is not something that is available in the institution level, only in the network zone level. Okay, so you see in the bottom left corner in the configuration, you have a new icon, which we call network zone. By pressing this new icon, you are presented with the Consortia Configuration Management Dashboard. Okay, and I'm going to overview what you see here. So,
wait, Erez, just to clarify or strengthen what you stated, someone will see this only when they are logged into the network zone institution and not a member institution.
Correct.
Just so everybody is clear. Okay.
So this is a one-stop shop, a new dashboard that is available for the network zone administrators, where they can, first of all, view the network zone configuration as they are today. And then I'll show you how do you navigate between the network zone to the members institution and even to the library level configurations. So we'll start with the dashboard. When you open that, so you see the various ALMA areas as you have it on the left bar. Okay, so you have the acquisition configurations, analytics, etc., etc., etc. And then this is a long page. So what we have done, we added those configurations within a draw, so you can close and open that. So you have a closed view at the beginning, and then if you decided you want to go to view the acquisition, you press the acquisition page opens, and then you have links to all the configurations that were moved to the network, to the new dashboard. I'm sorry. Not everything is already in the dashboard, as I mentioned earlier. But if you want to view them, this is the way. Okay. Before doing that, I want to close it, and I want to discuss about 2 elements before we are diving into those configurations. So first of all, on top, you have the bar that is a persistent menu in ALMA, which you are familiar with. So you see here that out of the box, when you open that dashboard, you have institution level, and the default is the network zone, the consortia environment, meaning currently you are configuring the network zone configurations, okay? And when you open that, you have a list of all the members in the consortia. Remember, you always stay within the network zone, so the network zone icon will remain persistent in any phase of the workflow you are doing. You changing the currently configuring in the dropdown, so either the network zone configurations or any of the members, okay? But the default, you will be presented with the network zone configurations. And we'll
Even Erez, even in the same session, if you switch now, this is a question. If you switch now to a member institution, Alma University, for example, and then you were to do back and go somewhere else, and in the same session come back here, it will still default to the network zone here?
meaning you still stay logged into the network zone institution. You will never go out as you did before to
If
log
you
into.
choose Alma University here, and
So
then do whatever, and now you go somewhere else in Alma and come back, will you by default be at Alma University?
no, you will be defaulted to the network zone.
Okay, so there's nothing sticky about it at all then. You're
Currently not.
always,
Yes.
okay.
Yes. Yeah. What you have to remember that the icon on the top left is always the network zone icon. What changes when you select any of the members in the dropdown is the icon in here, meaning you are logged into the network zone institutions, but you're currently configuring Alma University or moving on to Open University, you see that the icon changes.
Yeah.
But also you have an additional secondary dropdown telling you that now you are configuring Open University. It's being indicated here, and also the icon changes. Okay, so this is the navigation part of the dashboard. Going back to the network zone, before starting to manage or distribute configurations using that the dashboard, you see here a link to distributed settings. And the settings is something that you have to configure before you start working on the dashboard. And I want to discuss a little bit of what you see here. So first of all, there are 3 modes of distributions. By default, the selected mode is proposed, meaning I am the network zone. I do changes or add rows to any configurations that I'm working on. And then I want to propose that configuration to any of my members. It can be all the members, you can select, it can be selected members or groups, which we will see in a second. But I'm not forcing myself on a member, meaning I proposing configuration. I'll push it to the member. If the member change the out-of-the-box configuration that came from Ex Libris, they will not get any changes that the network pushed to the member. If nothing would change, if the default is still in place for that member, in a proposed mode, they will get what the network zone pushed to them. This is the first and the default distribution mode. Second option for some of the consortia that were asking for that option is a imposed mode. Imposed meaning whatever I push from the network zone to my members, it overrides what's available in the IZs, in the members institution. Meaning either if the member changed the default, the out-of-the-box configuration shipped out by Ex Libris, did some changes or not, it doesn't really matter. That configuration will be wiped, and whatever is pushed from the NZ to the IZ will be in place. As it is an imposed mode distribution, it means that the network zone dictates that configuration, and the IZ does not have an option to change that configuration, do any modification or adding rows to that configuration, meaning that configuration is blocked enclosed by the network zone. And I'll show you in a second how does it look like from the member institution point of view. And lastly, because some consortia would like to work with a proposed mode for some configurations, and some would like to work in imposed mode. So we presented a hybrid mode, meaning you have the options to select in the phase of the distribution, either to propose or impose. So you have the options to some of the configurations to do in a proposed mode, and some configurations in an imposed mode. So it gives you a hybrid mode, so you can play with that. Depends on your needs. So this is the distribution mode. If the proposed mode, the default mode is what you desired, you leave it as is. Otherwise, you will change it before you start working with the dashboard. Okay. The second configuration available here is the shared vendor accounts. So as I mentioned earlier, what we have done in the first phase is moving all configurations of type code tables and mapping tables to the new dashboard. And the next in line by the prioritization are configurations that are of type rules. So there are various rules in the various ALMA areas. There are rules in the acquisition, analytics, discovery, across the ALMA subject areas, what we called. And for the acquisition rules, those rules, as they are, they have embedded some additional information that might be available in the network zone, but not in the institution zone. When you distribute such a rule, if that, let's say, a vendor information, etc., is not available in the member, if the consortia does not work with a shared vendor account, that distribution capability will not be available for acquisition rules. Because behind the scenes, if we are not working with a shared vendor account, we will not create the missing data that exists in the NZ but not in the members as part of the distributions of the rules. So we are saying if you do not wish to work with a shared vendor account, the default will be a false, and for acquisition rules, distribution capabilities will not be available. And I'll show you that in a second. Lastly, you have an options to decide pre-working with the dashboard to have groups. So I want for the demo to have a demo group, okay? So I'm creating a demo group, give it the same description name, and add and close, okay? So I created a group, and then I want to select from the institution that I have in the consortia, which members will be part of the group. So for now, I'll select OpenU and Alma University, okay? So I do add institution, and for the sake of this, I'll call it Open and Alma universities. Okay, so I'll know from the description which institutions are part of the group. Okay, so this is all about the dashboard configurations. I'm saving that and closing the configuration. Okay, so we discussed about what I'm currently where I'm currently working at. So by default is the network zone. I have a way to navigate between the network zone and the members. Okay, so when selecting one of the members, you see a secondary dropdown where you either want to configure, work, manage then the institution level configurations, or even the library level configurations, and you see all the institution, the ALMA institutions library in the secondary dropdown. So
you're like an all-powerful controller here of an empire. You can go into every institution, and then you can drill down into each library. Like you got every countries around, and you can go into each city, and now you can control the whole thing here, without even leaving your home, without leaving the network zone. Very nice.
Thank you. Okay, so and of course, just to emphasize, when you're selecting a library that you want to manage their its configurations. Only library level configurations are available. So for now, if I select art library, you will see that only one configuration is available, which is the item policy within the fulfillment, the physical fulfillment. Sorry. Gradually, we will add more and more configurations that are currently available in the library level, and you'll see them here. But for now, you see all the institution level configuration in the dashboard. Okay, so I want to start with, just remember, we are currently working in a proposed mode distribution. So I want to go back to the network zone, okay? And I want to work on one of the configurations, okay? So I'm going to the acquisition, and let's say I want to work on the, okay, let's select license terms control vocabulary configurations, okay? So currently I see that the network, I'm working on the network, okay? So you see that I'm currently at the network. This configuration is not managed in the network, so managed in the network is a no, okay? And it's empty, okay? Nothing available in that configuration. Let's see what available in other members for the same configuration. So I switched. You see that Alma University for that configuration has 6 entries, okay? And you see the same view as if you were logged into that member institution. You see what the member institution admin sees here. So you don't have to log in from the network zone and log into the IZ to see that configuration. You're still in the network zone, but you currently viewing Alma University configurations. And I can like skip from one institution to another and see that Open University has nothing, and University of Knowledge as well has nothing. Okay, I'm going back to the network, and I want to just play with that. So let's say I have just doing code 1, and I have a value. So let's say value is 1. So I'm adding a row to the network zone configuration. I'm saving that, and I want to distribute it. So you see here that I have a distribution all. We'll talk later on 2 options to distribute. Currently, you have a distribute all. So when pressing a distribute all, you're being popped out with the confirmation distribution. And you see that the first option is distribution mode. And it's not, it's a disabled option, meaning because you're defined as proposed mode distribution, the only option here is do not override member institution customization, and we'll see when this option is allowed to be changed. So this is a proposed mode distribution. You can either decide that you want to distribute to all members, so you have an option to check box that, or you can select from the list of members, so you can do a cherry picking. Sorry, can do a cherry picking. So I can say that I want to distribute to Open University and University of Knowledge, or I can say, okay, I want to select to a group. Okay, and then either of these options are worked. So let's say I'm going to remove those members and say that I want to distribute to the demo group. Remember, we created a group with 2 members, and I want to distribute this change to the 2 of the members. So I'm pressing configure. Okay. Confirmation, I'm sorry. You see that I have a progress bar here that currently is in 0, and I have an option to refresh it and see what is the distribution progress done. You see that it was very quick. So when the distribution is concluded, you see that it says completed successfully with the date and time. This table, this configuration is managed in the network, yes. And I have a distributed for a counter where I can see to whom I distributed for. Here you see that nothing happened. No member received that distribution. And the reason for that is that because we are working in a propose mode, and because I said at the beginning that when working in a propose, it just as it is just a suggestion, meaning that if the member changed the out-of-the-box configuration that shipped out from Exlibris, we will not force the network zone configuration. So I distribute that configuration. The system knows which member changed the out-of-the-box configurations, and eventually nothing would happen. I want to do another distribution to a member that did not change anything. Okay, so let's see again, which one was it? This one was changed. Open University definitely changed because we said it is empty, but this configuration was shipped out with something, and it was changed by the member, so nothing came out, and this one as well. Okay, so let's have another example for a configuration that will be pushed from the NZ to the IZ. Okay, so okay, this one is changed, I know. So let's go to another type of configuration, and this one is a role level configuration, and I want to do some changes. So I'm customize one of the rows, and instead of false, I want to change it to true, and I want to save it. Okay. So what you see here now, oh, I'm sorry, my bad. I'm not in the network zone, so I have no distribution options. Back in the network zone, you see that I have two options, either distribute selected or distribute all, because this configuration is a row level configuration, meaning each row in that configuration is a configuration by its own. So when you're pushing that from the NZ to the IZ or doing any management of this configuration, it's in the row level instead of one holistic configuration that can be pushed as a whole. Okay, so I want to do some changes. So let's go to the second row, and no, this one was changed, I'm sorry. So I'm going to go to the 9th row. I want to customize it and switch it from yes to a no. Okay, I'm going to save that change. And as this is a row level configuration, I have an options to select which row I want to distribute. I can either do a distribute all, meaning I'm going to distribute the whole rows, or I can do a distribute selected, and I have to pre-select which row I want to distribute. So I'm distributing this row. Again, this is a propose mode. Now I want to distribute to all of the members. So I'm going to press distribute to all, okay, and confirmed the distribution. Okay, so now I'm going to refresh. Okay, distribute is concluded. Okay, we distributed row number 9. So now you have in the table a checkbox, a V saying this row is managed in the network. And in addition, you have the distribute for column with an I saying this row, this configuration row was distributed to Alma University and to Open University. Okay, so you know that is being this row being managed in the network and to whom I distributed it for. Okay, and then I can say that I want to see that distribution in the Alma University. So I'm switching to the Alma University, going to line number 9. I see my change. I see that this line is being managed, this configuration being managed in the network. And on top of that, I can see who manage that. So it's a bit little, so I want to change it. And now you see that it's being managed in the network. And who's the user? I'm still in the network, so this user is identified within the institution. So I can put it here explicitly and not hidden, and say Excel Impel, this is my user. I changed it at the network. So the network did the change and push it to the member. And we will see how does it look like from the member institution. So I'm switching to the member. Now I'm not touching the network zone, but I'm going to log in to the member. So I'm going to the Alma University institution. I'm logged in to that IZ, okay? And I'm going to go to the configuration, acquisition, and I'm going to go to the other settings, which is the configuration that I just presented to you. So line number 9 is the one that I pushed from the NZ to the IZ. You see it might change, okay? And you see that it's being managed in the NZ, okay, the network zone, and it was updated by the network. Now you no longer see who's the explicit user that did the change. In the network zone, as I am managing all configurations, I want to be able to know which user did which change. But from the member, the IZ perspective, I'm only presenting to the admin that the network pushed that line. And if the network, because it's a proposed mod, wishes to not use it, okay, so they can say, okay, I want to customize that. So let's customize the row. And what you get is a notification message telling you that if you do that, you are you're unlinking from the network zone management this configuration, and by confirming, you're not linked to what the network zone pushed to you. You see that managing the network is no longer available, meaning the network zone is no longer managing that configuration. So I show you a table row, a table level configuration. I show you a row level configuration. They behave the same. The main change between them is that a table level configuration or table level inheritance, all the information is on top, and the row level configuration is within the table in these two columns. You have the managed in the network and the updated row, where you know either if it's managed by the network or not, who did the change, and of course we always have the date that that change was conducted.
Erez, let me just stop for one moment. I don't see any questions in the chat, and I just want to make sure everyone's still with us, because no questions after 40 minutes. Everybody's still with us. Just send in a chat if you still see us, still hear us. Okay, people are telling us everything is still great. They're still connected. Go ahead, Erez. Sorry for the interruption.
No problem. Okay, so I'm going back to the network zone institution. Okay, I want to go back to the network, of course. So no secondary dropdown. And I want to change the definition of my distribution mode to an impose. Okay, I'm saving that. And now we are going to work in an impose mode as I described earlier. Okay, so I want to go to the currency setting configuration. And you can see that I have 8 entries to this configuration. This is actually already distributed to all of the members. So I can see that 3 members already received the network zone configuration. Let's see one of the members just for the sake of the story. So let's go to Alma University. So I'm switching the member, but I still in the currency setting. And you see that this table is managed in the network, and the member, the Alma University, has 8 entries. I'm going back to the network, okay, because I want to change something. So let's add one row, and let's add Japanese yen, okay? And it will be by default false. Okay, so now I have a 9th row that I know that none of the members has it, yeah. And I'm saving that change, and I want to distribute all. Okay, you see here that, I'm sorry, I'm going back. You see that as this is a table level inheritance, all the information is on top, and I have only distribute all without the options to distribute selected, because you have no checkbox available, meaning the whole configuration is pushed from the NZ. When I'm distributing, the whole configuration is pushed from the NZ to the IZs. There is no option to distribute a single row because it's a table level configuration. So I want to distribute all. And again, you see here that distribute mode is now override member institution customization Remember, I'm working in impose mode, and therefore I have no option to select. This is an impose, meaning I push from the NZ to the members and wipe these distributions, wipes whatever is available in the IZ. And now I want to distribute to all, okay? So I select distribute all and confirm the distribution. We have the progress bar. I'm going to refresh it. Okay, I see that the distribution mode, the real-time distribution is concluded, and I have the options to see that whom I distribute that configuration to. So I selected all of them received it, and now I'm going to see how does it look from the Alma University. So I switch the institution and see now Alma University, and now I see that I have the ninth row. Actually, it's sorted, so Yen is on the 8th. Okay, I see that Excel Impel push that live. Sorry, try to move it a little bit from the network. Okay, so
If
remember,
somebody, excuse me, if somebody at Alma University
Mhm.
were to view this, not somebody in the network zone doing institution level Alma University, would they also see EXL Impel at network?
No, no. So they will see only network, meaning the network zone pushed
Uh-huh.
that configuration, but they will not be able to know which explicit user did it.
Okay.
You are currently within the network zone. Remember that. So within the network, we want to know which member, I'm sorry, which user, which admin user did the configuration. So we place it explicitly on the configuration. I'll show you how does it look from the member institution. So now I'm presenting Alma University, right? You see Alma University, right? Correct? In
Yep.
blue. Okay. So I'm going back to the acquisition. I'm going to the currency setting. Okay. Suddenly, you see here on the top right a message saying this configuration is managed in the network and cannot be changed. This configuration is blocked.
Wait, we don't see what you're saying.
Do
Are
you
we
see
supposed to see what you're saying?
do you see the blue environment?
No.
Okay. So I'm sorry. It's not switched by default. So I'm and now?
Okay, now we do.
Okay.
All right,
So
now you're in Alma University. We see updated by network, and you don't see the user, I assume for privacy reasons.
correct. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm logged into the Alma University institution zone. Okay. And I'm currently viewing the acquisition currently setting configuration that I pushed from the NZ. And what you see on top right is a message saying this configuration is managed in the network and cannot be changed. As this is
Okay.
a configuration that was pushed from the NZ to the IZ and in pause mode, you're not able to do any changes to configurations. So you have no actions as you were if you were in the network zone or if it was a configuration distributed and in proposed mode, because its distribution mode is imposed, you have no actions, you have no ability to change anything in the configuration and not even do enablement or or active or inactive, meaning the entire configuration is blocked and is managed by the network. This is a flavor of the of some of the consortia that want a complete control over their members' configurations. Any questions so far?
Yeah, it's very nice, Eris. Very nice. I can see now like real unity also. On the one hand, the network zone administrator is all powerful. On the other hand, all of the orders will not have some strange codes for something. All of the institutions will have the same or can have the same currencies now and everything. Without
Correct.
worry, someone's going to go in there, have extra roles, and start playing around, and then there's all kinds of mismatches.
Correct. But this is a one flavor. Some
Yep.
consortia will prefer proposed over imposed or even a hybrid. And I want to show you a hybrid mode. Okay. So I'm going back to present the network zone. So let me reshare the network zone institution. I'm going to go back to the configuration, the dashboard configuration. Of course, I'm going back to the network zone. And now I want to have in hybrid mode, okay? And as I'm going to show you acquisition rule, I'm leaving the shared vendor account as a fault. Remember that. Okay, so now I'm doing any distribution will be in a hybrid mode. So just for the example, I'm going to the survey questions, multiple choices. Okay, configuration. I'm currently at the network zone, and let's add a row. Okay, just question 1, choice value, let's say 1, and let's have a single choice. Just for the sake of the story, I'm gonna customize that and do a distribute all. So what changed? Now the distribution mode option is open, and within in the distribution phase, you can either select do not override or do override. Remember, do not override is a propose mode, and override it's an impose mode. So when you work in a hybrid mode distribution, okay, you can select either of the two options. So it allows you more flexibility to decide which configuration will be in which mode, versus either if you work in a propose mode or only in an impose mode, that this option is predefined. So you're not able to select it during the distribution. I hope the hybrid mode is clear.
Yeah, I would define hybrid mode as you choose impose or not impose on each distribution.
Correct. Correct. If you were to select your predefined propose mode or impose mode, this will be this will be the mode to the entire configurations. Okay, but if you want the options, the flexibility to decide between the two, you go with the hybrid, and then for each configuration you distribute, you select what is the mode in the time of the distribution.
Now, Erez, are there cases where a job distributes? And if so, how would we know what to choose in the job?
No, this is only a manual option, meaning the dashboard allows you to do whatever I presented, but manually. There is no an option to schedule or trigger a job behind the scenes. No, this is a manual work to be done. This is not how you conducted earlier, previously, setting a configuration to be managed in the network and then save and distribute triggered a job. This is a manual real-time distribution. Okay, I hope I answered your question.
There are still jobs which do distribute configurations to the members, correct?
Correct. These jobs,
okay.
These jobs still in place. We did not take them away from you because we want to see how you react. How do you perceive this new dashboard? Those jobs, in addition to the current configuration, I'm going to close the dashboard and show you that those configurations that you see in the dashboard are still available in the old menu. We did not yet take them away.
But when a job runs and you're in hybrid mode, how does it know to do impose or not impose?
The job has no option. It's always proposed.
Okay.
Previously, before August, there were no modes. Distribution modes were not available. It's always been proposed.
Okay. So the hybrid impose or propose is only relevant for manual distributions.
Within the
when
dashboard.
The jobs run, it's going to be proposed like it always was.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you for that. It's a good point, Yoel. Okay. So lastly, I want to show you some rules, because I said in the beginning that we moved all configurations of types, code tables and mapping tables completely. and then started to move rules. Okay, so it's a work in progress, and you're not going to see all the rules in August, but some of them. And I want to talk about the rules of the acquisitions. Okay, so I just want to filter out all configurations that have rules in their name. So you see now that the list is narrowed. And for the acquisition, there are 3 configurations of type rules. We have the invoice approval rules, purchasing review rules, and invoice review rules. Okay, remember, shared vendor account setup is defined as false. So when I'm going to one of these configurations, I'm still in the network. And you see the network zone configurations, but there are no distribute capabilities available. And why is that? As I mentioned, some of these rules have vendors' data that if it's not available in the member, when you distribute from NZ to IZ, these rules will be defected, meaning you need the values to be available in the IZ so these rules to work. So if you were to change that configuration and say that you are actually working in a shared vendor account, so I'm going to save that and going back to that configurations, suddenly you have all the capabilities available and you can distribute these rules, meaning that these rules with all the metadata within that rule are pushed from the NZ to the IZ. If some of the metadata in some of the values, I'm going to show you an example. You have an options to select, let's say, assertion code in, you have a list of codes or not this one, sorry, invoice creation from options. Those options might include vendors' data or acquisition related data that is available in NZ and not available in IZ. When you work in shared vendor accounts, if that information is not available during the distribution, it's not available in the members, during the distribution, we will create it in the IZ and then push the configuration from the NZ to the IZ. So these configuration will not be defected when it's available to the member. So if you were not working with a shared vendor account setup, we are not allowed to create behind the scenes if information is missing in your members. So this is something that is available in the online help. We created, I don't know, Yoel, if you added the link to the webinar, but there is a new documentation describing everything I presented today into details, the configurations, the various elements of the dashboard, and everything is available for you already. And of course, the dashboard is currently available in the sandbox and will be available in August 4th in your production environment. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. That's it, Erez?
Yes.
Okay, let's see if there's any final questions before we close here. I see we still have 4 minutes. Any final questions from anybody in the chat? I don't see any questions from anybody in the chat. So thanks, everybody. We hope to see you in our next session on the local extensions and on preventing people from editing fields from the member institutions. The recording of this will be available, as always, on YouTube, and we will be sending out a message that the recording is available. And thanks again, Erez. Take care, everybody, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.